Everybody, welcome back to Wicked Good Sports. This is Power Player, and we're joined, as always, by Chris Uminski. Chris, it's been a while. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Brian. How are you?
Doing quite well. So while we've been, all right, I've been obsessing over, roster cuts and all the different kind of moves in the NFL. What has been going on in the NHL?
So the NHL free agency is in full swing. A few big names on the move. Um, the Calgary Flames are going for it.
Yes.
They're stacking themselves.
Yeah, so obviously, one of the moves is very near and dear to I know your heart, mine too, but I know you're especially a big fan of one of the players involved.
Over here.
Yeah, so talk about that.
Yeah. So Phil Kessel, he was in a contract year. He decided not to re-sign with Arizona, and he is now going to be with Calgary.
All right, so what does Phil Kessel bring to the table for Calgary?
What so Phil Kessel, he's getting older. He's one of those players, and like, oh, is he going to retire soon? Maybe, but he has still got a fantastic, like, he still has the same skills that he had when he was younger, maybe a little diminished,
Mm-hmm.
but he's still on his best days. He can be an elite player. He's going to bring a lot to the offense. He's going to go down as one of the greatest wingers in NHL history at the end of the day.
Right, and I mean he's I don't want to put words into his mouth, of course, but he's probably pretty happy to be out of the situation that he was in. Not that it was personally bad, just like the team situation in Arizona. We've covered extensively. Not the best.
Yeah, so he actually did have some thoughts on that. He said, his words were, "I'm glad to be with a team that wants to win."
I think that's fair. I'm sure the players wanted to win, but the ownership uh, doesn't seem to give much of a shit in Arizona, quite frankly. So,
Right. And I'm an idiot. Also, Phil Kessel's on the Golden Knights, not the Flames. The next
oh my
player we're
gosh. Okay,
going
all right.
to
So we've been talking about the Golden Knights this whole time. If you thought we were talking about the Flames, that's on you. Clearly, we're very. You know what? It's been a while. Like I said, the rust is there, as you can see. But that's why
All
it's
right.
good to do these in the off season, so that we're ready when the season starts in
But
a little over a month here.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, the Golden Knights. They finally didn't make the playoffs last year. Uh, is that correct?
Yes, and I think that was one of the big motivators for picking up Kessel.
Mm-hmm.
He has a lot of playoff experience. He's like I said, he's still a top player.
Mm-hmm.
And as Vegas sort of evaluates where they are after missing the playoffs, adding a player like that, I think, is a good move.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'm sure in Las Vegas there's plenty of all you can eat buffets, especially hot dog buffets that he'll want to take a lot of advantage of. Do you think that's
When
accurate?
I see that meme, it was like Phil Kessel finding out he's leaving Arizona, uh, Golden Knights fans finding out he's going to Vegas, and then casino buffet owners finding out Phil Kessel's coming to town.
Love it, love it. So we're big fans of Phil here. Obviously, former Bruin, and just like seems like very likable guy, and his daughter also very, very good at hockey. So it's really
Yeah, a talent on her own.
all right. So from the Golden Knights to actually the Calgary Flames now, what moves have they been making?
So a surprising move. So Nazem Kadri was in a contract year with the Avalanche, and the Avalanche
Mm,
are coming off, Stanley Cup win. Um, Kadri's profile and reputation in the league are certainly improving than
mm,
what it was maybe a year or two ago.
right.
Um, but he signed with the Calgary Flames, not the Golden Knights, the Calgary Flames.
Right. Yeah. All right. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think that's another fantastic move by the Flames. We've talked about it before. The Flames are really going with it for it. They lost Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Tkachuk, but they've made up for it by adding Jonathan Huberdeau, Mackenzie Weegar, and Nazem Kadri. So they're really trying to stack themselves in both positions, in offensive and defensive positions, and they're really just going for it. Kadri is, again, he's a top winger in the league. I respect him as a skilled player. His style of play, I think, is a little dirty, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, maybe the type of player that when he's on your team, you like him, and then when he's not, you're like, this guy, scumbag. I would never imply, of course, but yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, so again, interesting for the Flames to go for it here. Obviously, like you said, they lost Matthew Tkachuk, but you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. What else do we got on the docket for today?
So, all the fun stuff is now something that's not so it's fun, but it's not. There are some rumors floating around.
Okay.
About a couple of players who are very near and dear to my heart. There are reports that both Zdeno Chara and Joe Thornton may be retiring this offseason.
Yeah, and when we were talking about this yesterday, you brought up a very interesting stat. What was that?
It is so in the 4 major professional leagues in North America, there are 2 players who are still active who played in the 1990s, and they are Zdeno Chara and Joe Thornton.
Yeah, so and they're both potentially leaving at the same time. I will be honest, I would not have expected hockey to be the sport that players from the 90s are still playing in. If I had to guess, I would have guessed probably baseball.
Maybe basketball.
Yeah, but I obviously Tom Brady is drafted in 2000. He just missed the cut, but that's pretty crazy. Very big end of an era here. So if Chara and Thornton, both former Bruins, if they're done, what are their legacies?
Well, I mean, so when I was growing up, Joe Thornton was the captain of the Bruins. So my earliest vivid Bruins memories are with Joe Thornton. He is going to go down as one of the great. They're both Hall of Famers. There's absolutely no question about that. And even Joe Thornton, he's still playing at a very high level.
Mm-hmm.
He said it himself. He's running out of gas. And it's already confirmed that he's not going back to the Panthers. His wife let something slip on Instagram, accidentally on purpose. But
Right. So that's hopefully he enjoys retirement if this is the end. For Chara, obviously we speculated during the season that he, went back to the Islanders, right? Because that's where he started to kind of end it where he started. What is Chara's legacy?
Chara is going to go down as one of the best defensemen that the NHL has ever seen. He's going to go down as one of the most physical players that the league has ever seen. He's one of those guys that I would put into a category. They started to change the game with how physical you can get and the physicality of the game just in general.
Mm-hmm.
And just the enforcer role.
Right.
He's going to go down as one of the greatest Bruins in history. His 33 is going to be in the Raptors before long.
Yeah, no, I think so too. I mean, he was such a fan favorite here in Boston and such a great player as well. And, just a big part of the Boston Bruins experience that I've known as, and I'm sure same for you as this, era kind of transitions into another one. So good for Chara if this is the end. Absolutely. I think everyone will always remember all the fights that he's been in and also the picture. I think it was him standing next to Simone Biles where she's really short and he's enormous and that was, very fun. Yeah. So, Yeah, no, everyone loves Chara, I feel like.
Yeah. You can't not like Chara. Even if you don't like whatever team he's on, then you gotta like Chara.
Yeah. And that's it, Chris. I mean, more evidence that we're getting older as 90s kids. There's no more athletes from the 90s in the major sports. Probably. We'll see if they do officially hang up the skates.
I'll go and keel over and die right there in the ice.
Oh, man. All right. Anything else you want to touch on before we get on out of here?
A bit of exciting news. The NHL has announced that we are bringing back the World Cup of Hockey.
Yes. Very
Which
fun.
It is exciting because we missed out on the Olympics,
Yes.
and there's a hunger for higher level international hockey.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's gonna be in 2024, not this season, but the season after.
Mm-hmm. I mean, very exciting. I love tournaments, Olympics, World Cups. I'm here for it. I even was watching some of the World Cup of flag football the other day. So, I'm all for it. Yeah, yeah. There's a U.S. won, obviously. Shout out to the boys from the U.S. flag football team for winning that World Cup. But yeah, it'll be fun, and I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Yes, as am I.
All right, Chris, where can they find you online?
Best place to find me is on Twitter at Chris_Uminski. I'm always talking about hockey, posting my best Phil Kessel memes. Ripping on the teams that I don't like.
Yes, Maple Leafs, chief among them. Yes, so go follow Chris there. You can follow me on Twitter at the Fake BMR. This BMARR channel is on Twitter at Wicked Good Sport or WG Everything. It's on Instagram at Wicked Good Everything, Twitch at twitch.tv/Wicked Good Everything, and on TikTok. Search Wicked Good Sports, search Wicked Good Everything. Chris, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
We'll see you all in the next one.